As of this date, PokemonGo is the #1 grossing app on both the App Store and the Play Store for Android and Apple products. So over the weekend, my girlfriend and I, we got the opportunity to go out to Chicago. We drove to participate in the PokemonGo Festival. It's the first time that Niantic has hosted this. It's been 1 year since the app has been out. I'm sure most of you who are watching this know what the PokemonGo app is. It's an AR game that you can play and catch Pokemon around the world. So if you haven't heard by now, the festival, for lack of a better word, was a complete disaster. It didn't seem like Niantic was really prepared for the amount of people that showed up. So in this video, I'm going to kind of go over some of the issues that my girlfriend and I experienced while at the festival and our own experiences on that. So the first issue that we came across right off the bat was the line to get into the festival. We ended up waiting in line for 2 hours, and if you saw my vlog, which you can go watch now, the line was ridiculously long. You were able to show up at 6 a.m. that morning to get into line. There was a fast track line where if you purchased, I think it was another $25 for the ticket, you got a fast track. You were allowed in an hour earlier and the line was much smaller. If you got a standard ticket, you had to wait in this massive line, and you were able to go in at 10 a.m. Now, some people got to show up there at 6 a.m. and they waited in line. The line started forming. This line was massive by the time my girlfriend and I got there an hour after the festival started. So we got there around 11 o'clock. This line wrapped down about 5 blocks one way, another block another way, and then it went back the 5 blocks to a fountain, and it was like a big fountain like area, and it started just wrapping randomly around the fountain. I asked some people how long they were in line for. Most people said 2 hours, some said 3, a couple said 4, and it was just, there was only one entrance to the festival itself, which in my thought process, that seems like a bad idea. If you're expecting around 12,000 people to show up to a festival, you would have maybe 2-3 entrances and a faster check-through process. The line itself was very disorganized once it got to the fountain. For the most part, it was just a straight-up line, and then it got to the fountain, and it just seemed to start zigzagging in every which direction, kind of like a game of Snake. There was very little staff. I think there was only one person that we ended up seeing the entire time managing the line, and they were just standing at the end of it, which, by the way, the end of this line was impossible to find. It was literally in the middle of the game of Snake that was being played with this line. So, like I said, people were sitting in line for 2 to 3 hours, so the line itself was just a very bad experience. You know, you go there and you just kind of want to get into the festival and start having a good time. You don't want to sit in line for 4 hours, you know, to get into a park. So a smaller issue that popped up right after the line. So we got through the line and we immediately started experiencing another issue, and that was getting into the event itself, getting through the bag check. So it seemed like there was very strict rules against what could be brought in. You weren't allowed to bring in plastic water bottles. Any contained water bottles had to be dumped out, which I can kind of understand. They don't want people sneaking in alcohol. There's some acid throwing thing going on in Europe right now that's kind of stretching over to the US, so they don't want any of that. So that's understandable. I understood the water bottles. We were still allowed to bring in an empty water bottle and fill it up in the park, which perfectly fine. But we weren't allowed to bring in an umbrella to the festival, and they told us to show up. There was an email that was sent out that said, please come prepared for rain. It was predicted to rain all day, and they said be prepared for rain. You know, people brought ponchos and stuff, and you know, raincoats and everything, and you'd think an umbrella would be fine to bring in, but lo and behold, you weren't allowed to bring an umbrella. We actually got stopped the first time. They took out the umbrella, and then thankfully the lady that checked my bag was really understanding. She let us bring the water and the umbrella in. You know, kind of disregarded it, thankfully. But the second time, we left to get food and we came back, and the guy was complete, you know, jerk about it. You know, he's holding the umbrella. He's like, I can't let you bring this in. I understand he's just doing his job, but I just didn't understand the umbrella aspect of it. Why couldn't we bring an umbrella in case it did rain? What was I gonna do with the umbrella? I mean, the worst I could do was go around and hit people with it. know? So I wouldn't be as mad about the umbrella if, you know, they checked everything. If they checked, like, they didn't even check all the pockets to my backpack. I could have hid the umbrella in a different pocket and gotten through perfectly fine. I opened my backpack to the main pocket. They looked in. If they saw anything suspicious, they pulled it out. If not, you're good to go. I had my pockets perfectly fine to have stuff in them. The front pocket of my backpack was fine. I had a second, like, it's like a hidden pocket on my backpack. Didn't even, nothing, you know, after that was like, fine. So I just didn't understand the umbrella aspect. Another thing that I mentioned in my vlog was I wasn't allowed to bring in my tripod into the festival. My girlfriend and I kind of talked it over, and there was an email that got sent out about not streaming the event. We thought maybe they thought I was going to prop up the camera with a tripod and film the event and stream it or something. But my thing is, like, you let me bring my camera in, but you wouldn't let me bring a tripod in. I asked if I could just put the tripod in my backpack. They said no. I had to take it all the way back to the hotel, which was like a good 10 blocks away, maybe. It wasn't very, it's not far, but it was far enough that it took me a good while to get back and then walk all the way back to the event. And then I had forgotten I had tripods in my backpack. I got to the event and they just let me go through. So I walked all the way back to the hotel, walked all the way back to the event with tripods and still got in. I just couldn't walk in with a tripod attached to my camera. You know, like it just seemed like it was really like, you know, two people had two different rules going on for what could be brought into this event. The tripods, by the way, were in the main pocket that they looked into and were fine with me bringing in. So I was just really confused and frustrated with that. So now the biggest issue that plagued the Pokemon event, the connectivity issues to the internet itself. It was horrible. As soon as you got into the park, you had to scan a QR code, open up the game, and put the QR code into the game, essentially. You weren't even able to launch the game. Internet was slow as anything. They had some Wi-Fi spots set up that were completely overburdened and unusable, and it was just bad. I was not able to play the game for the entire event that I was there for. I could not launch the game. I could not play it. I could not scan my QR code. At one point, I scanned the QR code and it took it, but it said it was invalid. And I was told that it was okay. I went to the support. They said, oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's scanned. I was like, all right, that's cool. A little unreassuring that my code is saying invalid, but, you know, it ended up working out. My girlfriend got in about 2 hours after she was started trying to get into the game, and then from that point, besides some crashing issues that were happening, she was pretty much good to go. Neither of us could play the game though. Like, I got in after 6 hours, she got in after 2 hours, and we were able to use the app Pokemon Go, but we couldn't play the game. We could click on stuff and it would just sit there and load, but we could see the map and everything. So to fix the connectivity issues, what Niantic decided to do was extend the radius of the festival to 2 miles out in each direction around the park, into the city of Chicago. So if you were registered to the event, and your account was all set up, you were able to actually leave the park and still participate in the event up to 2 miles outside of the city. You were able to catch special Pokemon, you were able to do special battles and stuff like that. And for the most part, this did help a lot of people, but it didn't do what they wanted to overall, which was completely fix the connectivity issues. I still wasn't able to play. A lot of people that we were talking to around the city were not able to still get into the game and play it. It was just, there were so many people trying to play in the city that it just brought the city's network to its knees. So overall, those issues weren't fixed until later that night. We went out and we were actually able to do raids and stuff like that, probably around 10 p.m., 11 p.m. at night. And it seemed like things were starting to work around them when a lot of people were either leaving or left the city already. So besides the line, the connectivity issues, getting into the park itself, the only other issue that I really had was there wasn't much to do at the festival. They had a stage set up with some music going, but there wasn't much. They had a screen that they were going to show the live stream on. I think they had some other stuff planned for the live stream, but due to the connectivity issues, they had to cancel that. And so, I mean, all you could really do, and this is kind of the point of the game, is walk around and like just catch Pokemon in the app. But the app wasn't working, so that was already a downside. And overall, I mean, they had these things set up where you could take a picture with like a plexiglass cut out of a Pokemon almost. And that was about it. You could go to like these like pavilions set up and you could just relax there. They had some charge stations. They also had this thing where you could like plug into a screen and battle another player. But overall, that was about it. And, you know, it would have been nice if there was like some cool like you know, stands you could go to, or like a panel, or like something, you know, when you go to like a convention or like a festival, you expect there to be like booths set up and stuff that you can go visit and everything, but there was none of that. You really just walked around in a circle at the park, and I don't know, I mean, yeah, it was a park, it was kind of nice, but it would have been nice if there was more stuff to actually do at the festival. So overall, the whole trip and event experience was kind of shitty. The festival was just why we went to Chicago, and the fact that we weren't even able to participate in why we went to Chicago kind of sucked personally for me a lot. My girlfriend, like I said, she was able to play after 2 hours, but I couldn't play at all during the festival at all. I couldn't do anything, and that really sucked because that was why we went out there. I mean, we did a 12-hour drive out there to not be able to play. Being in the city though was nice. You know, we got to go out to eat and stuff and see around all the sights around the city and everything, and it was really nice, you know, the trip out there. But to have the main reason you go that far away to do something and then not be able to do it just kind of sucked. So Niantic did decide to give out a refund and $100 worth of in-game currency to everybody that went to the event. This was a nice gesture, but it wasn't like a solution to the entire issue. It was nice that they did that, but we paid a lot of money to go out to Chicago to do this event. We had to pay for a hotel, gas, tolls, food, and then the event itself. And you know, this made up maybe like that refund there made up like a fraction of the actual cost that it did. And I'm not saying like to pay the whole cost or anything, because they're not going to do that. It's a company, they can't do that, it would be too ridiculous. But I mean, I'm thinking about the people who came over from Europe for this event, who flew from like California. You know, that stuff's not cheap, you know, to go to an event for the weekend, and a lot of people stayed the entire weekend, and then to not be able to do what they wanted to do. You know, it kind of feels like we were baited out there and then not really given it. Hey, shit happens. Niantic did try. This usually happens with Niantic. I feel like a lot of people should have predicted this, but they didn't. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my kind of like a review of the situation that happened with PokemonGo Festival. This is the last I'm going to do a PokemonGo Festival. I know I had the vlogs in this video, so we're done with it. We're going to move on to some other stuff next week. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next video. Feel free to follow all of my social links down below, my Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And yeah, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys again. Bye!